What's going on, guys? It's Screech here, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a basic guide to Snake Eye. Snake Eye is going to get some new support in the set that comes out all the way on Saturday. You'll be seeing this video probably on Tuesday now, by the time I've finished editing and rendering it. So yeah, we've only got like less than a week till we get our Phantom Nightmare sneak peek packs, and we can go ahead and play this deck for real, IRL. No customs, no proxies, no nothing. Just one last bank account, because this is one hell of an expensive deck. But we're going to do our best today to show you some of the combos, some of the lines that I've been playing, talk about some techs, talk about what you have to play, what you can play, what you might want to play, what you should play, what you shouldn't play, and just my general thought on the deck. I've been playing the deck pretty much non-stop for about a week, 2 weeks now, and by non-stop I mean like every day for a good few hours a day, learning all the ins and outs of this deck. I've come up with a few combos, and the majority of them are pretty linear, but I do want to say this deck is very free-bally. You can kind of just go with whatever approach you want with this deck. You don't have to follow set combos, set lines. I'm just going to be showing you a few of the more popular ones and the ones that I've been doing, and I'll be showing you ways to play around certain hand traps, and I'll also, like I said, be telling you some other versions you want to play. Just briefly, I will only be going over pure. I will not be going over like Fire King builds or Salamangreat builds or anything like that. I'll be going over just pure Snake Eye combos today. If you want to learn combos to do with the Fire Kings, the Salad cards, Volcanics, any other fire deck that works in this, I'd suggest going looking at other combos for those, and seeing how they sync in with the Snake Eye combos. Without further ado, let's get into our first little segment, which is the cards you have to play in the deck. These, in my opinion, are not up for debate. Okie dokie, guys, so this is the basic engine. 19 cards in total, gives you loads of room for flex spots, which we will talk about after this little segment. But we're going to talk about these 19 cards first, and a few extra deck cards, but I've only really included 2. These are, in my opinion, cards that are not up for debate, not up for changing, not up for, well, it's not that good. These are your bread and butter. These are the cards that start your combos, are your combos, are your extenders in your combos, and everything combo related. Starting off with 2 copies of Flambird, you do have to play 2. One is usually plonked in the spell and trap zone in the combo, and the other one is usually summoned. 3 copies of Diabellstar the Black Witch. Mummy Witch is the best extender in this deck. It is also a 1-card combo alone, as this can automatically set the Snake Eyes Sinful Spoil card directly from deck, which will get you to your actual 1-card starter, which is Snake Eye Ash. Snake Eye Ash does everything you want. It adds a fire, it's going to special summon one from deck, it does absolutely everything. The one that you're usually going to end up adding is Snake Eye Populous. You can actually play 3 of this card. I personally am only playing 2, and after testing, think 2 is probably correct, but I am more than happy to listen to people that say 3 is correct. You can do a lot of combos with just this card alone. We won't be talking about those combos that much today. We'll be talking about the combos with Ash, Diabellstar, and you know, all of the cards to get to it. Oak is your extender. We did kind of skip over it, but Oak is your extender, and the card that you tend to summon. You summon it in every combo. It's your main extender. You only play 1. It does not matter if you draw it. You can summon them from hand. Obviously, that just means there's 1 less card in your hand when you're doing these big combos. And then, of course, 1 copy of the Field Spell. This is also a part of the combo and is searchable off of Populous. Also, the Sinful Spoil Snake Eye is also searchable off Populous, but unfortunately the Field Spell is not searchable with Diabellstar. Only the Sinful Spoils card is. 3 copies of Bonfire, this is to get your Ash, and 3 copies of Wanted, this is to get your Diabellstar. The Princess, you're playing a majoritively fire deck, you should be playing this, and Link Karibo, or Relinquished Animal, but personally Link Karibo is also needed in the combo. It's a level 1 deck, guys. You're going to be playing these cards. So now let's just have a brief talk over my deck list. This is the deck list I will be playtesting today. This is the deck list I will be showing you combos with today, and this is, well, my deck list. It of course plays the 19 cards that we said, and we're going to talk about a couple of tech choices that I play and a couple of tech choices that I've tested and I'm more than happy to listen to. Starting off with Jet Synchron. Jet Synchron allows you to have Synchro access. It allows you, by including just the one Jet Synchron, to have the play of Formula Synchron, Savage and Baron de Fleur, and that is really, really strong, guys. Not only is it that, it does also snowball into a lot of recursion, searching, and IP fodder to go into bigger things like 4-on-5 card Appaloosas or Underworld Goddesses, which I am not playing, but it is a card you can play. Or, you know, just free spam fodder. Swarming the board with bodies is never a bad thing. Also included in that, just to boost up the consistency slightly, we are playing 1-for-1 and Pot of Prosperity. Only opted for 2 copies of Pot of Prosperity, but it just helps you dig. You don't desperately need some of these cards in the extra deck, so you can afford to play these. Of course, you do become a little bit more susceptible to Droll, but you can kind of play through Droll. So Pot of Prosperity is not the be-all and end-all, but your combo sometimes can go through Formula Synchron, which of course means this card is dead. And 1-for-1, you want to get to Ash. You want to get to Ash so quickly that I am more than happy to waste a potential hand trap spot on this card, which left us with, I think, like 18 flex spots or something like that, and we went for hand traps. You do not have to go for hand traps. You do not have to net deck this build. You can put anything in this deck. If you want to play heavy go second cards, things like Lightning Storm, Evenly, Duster, Talents, Thrust, perfectly fine. No problems with that. If you want to play a strictly going first build with a lot of floodgates, scrap these 18 hand traps off, start putting in Tikaboos, summon limits and stuff like that, perfectly fine. If you want to play hand traps, perfectly fine. This is my build. It's a little bit of everything. I've gone for hand traps, I've gone for 2 Ash, 2 Bell, 3 Droll, 2 Veiler, 3 Imperm, 2 Cosmics, and some crossout designators as well. I wanted to play crossouts just to allow your combos to go off a little bit more, and I also wanted to have a little bit more of a wider range of hand traps, so that's why we've got a few weird ratios, like 2 Ash and 2 Veilers. Droll is a really high impact hand trap that you want to see it. Imperm is not good to draw off of Heat Soul, whereas the rest of these cards are, and there's a few pesky trap decks running around, so Cosmic Cyclone is also not a bad option. Jet Synchron, like I said, is the reason we're playing Baron, Formula, and Savage Dragon. We are playing a rank 1 deck, so we may as well make use of the Lyrilisk Assembled Nightingale, which of course is free Zeus fodder. The Pyro Phoenix, the Ship, the Zelantis, and the Princess are all a part of an OTK line. Does seem like a lot of heavy commitment, let's just shuffle these around, for 1 OTK, but this will do, I believe it's 8600 damage, whilst also dealing with like 2 to 3 cards. So if your opponent isn't setting up negates, or your opponent's negates are gone and they just have a few bodies, this thing is going to more than likely OTK them, and all this is doable off a single copy of Ash. Sunlight Wolf, because we are playing a heavy fire deck and the recursion is good, we are, pardon me, also playing Heat Soul, is a part of one of the combos I will be showing you today, and then the best links in the game, SP and IP, Appaloosa, because we can make a lot of stuff, and of course the Link Reader, like we said earlier. So we've already talked about some other cards you can play, other hand traps, Phantasmi, Bestials, whatever you want to play, talents, and stuff like that. Let's talk a little bit about the extra deck and what else you can play. Access code, really good. You can spam bodies on this board really quickly to make things like access code, even Boral Sword, which kind of fell out of play because of access code, but the extra monster you need for Boral Sword is not an issue in this deck at all. Underworld Goddess, again, you are playing IP, it is a part of one of your main plays, and you can more than happily spam 4 monsters to go IP into Underworld Goddess. Definitely a considerable option. You can play a lot more rank 1s. There is another Lyrilisk that searches winged beasts. You can use that to search things like DD Crow, and just make the number monsters and make F0. You can spam to 4 to 6 level 1s in a turn. Wouldn't really experiment with too many more synchros, but you can definitely experiment with heavier synchro builds. And then it's just other generic links. Pit Knight early is very good. Anything that's fire is very good, because you get fire locked when Princess is on the field, but only when Princess is on the field, so it's not an issue. Where's Link Monsters gone? There it is. Sorry. So let's just go through the links and roughly go through them dead quickly. Of things I would consider playing. I probably will scroll past some. but let's have a look. You compare it with other engines. I've not really talked about that. Fire King is a good build. Salamangreat, Volcanics, Rescue Ace, all fire decks work really well with this. Of course, pairing with the Sinful Spoil cards and the Diabellstar cards. Skuldred, you can make Skuldred if you really wanted to. You could probably do some Firewall things. Nightmares are always pretty good to have. The BLS link is probably viable. You are playing Flamberge, so you can get a benefit off the BLS link. The Topologic card, Trisbania, is always a card I would always consider. The card is phenomenal. People do sleep on it. And you can trigger the Topologic card on your opponent's turn. So Trisbania and Zeroboros, the link 4. More than happy to play those. Those would definitely trigger. Unicorn again, like I said, the Nightmares. Phoenix is also a fire. Selene, you are playing Diabellstar. You can trigger this really well. The Charmers, both the Dark and Fire Charmer, should probably be played. I am going to try and find room for Heater, but I'm really struggling for space. Yeah, I think that's about it. Relinquished Anima, I mentioned earlier. We're coming up to Link 1s in a minute. There's not really that many Link 1s in the game to talk about. Let's just see if there's any that comes up real quick. Scroll past the Link 2s. A lot of Link 2s in this game, aren't they? I wouldn't really play any of the Strikers. Wouldn't play the Guard Dragons. Rest in peace, Link Cross. Yeah, maybe just Anima and Link Rebo for Link 1s. But that's it for Links. Synchros, you can make any Synchro for 8, any Synchro for 10. You do not have to make Savage and Baron, but for me this is the best build and the best targets to go for. Savage benefits so much off this deck, as it does of course equip, which is what this deck wants to really do, is have cards in the spell and trap zone. But without further ado, let's get into the first combo. We're going to be going over a few combos with just Snake Eye Ash, and then we'll go over a couple of extending combos after that. Alrighty then, let's get started with the first combo. This is going to be your standard combo with just Snake Eye Ash. We're going to normal summon Ash and add Snake Eye Populous. Populous is when this card is added to your hand, except by drawing it, you can special summon this card, and then if it's summoned, it's going to add a Snake Eye spell and trap. This is the first point that we're going to say. If this card is negated, if this card is impermed, if this card is ashed, if this card is veiled, and you have something like Pot of Prosperity or Bonfire, you can dig for Populous and it will still trigger. Populous is going to then go ahead and summon itself and add a spell. Populous has two choices, but like I said earlier, you can only add this one off of the Diabellstar, so most of the time it is correct to go for the Divine Temple. Next, we're going to go ahead and activate the field spell, and we're going to go ahead and place any of our Snake Eye cards, as you can see, in the spell and trap zone. It is important that we get Flamberge here, as he is going to be the thing that extends us most into this combo. We're going to go ahead and make a Link Rebo, and this will trigger Populous's second effect, which is when it's sent to the grave, we can just slap it in the spell and trap zone. Now let's talk about the main mechanic of Snake Eye. What they tend to do is they do an effect, like we've just seen, Ash search Populous, Populous summon, Populous got the spell, and then they all have this secondary effect, or at least the majority of them do, which is to send 2 face-up cards you control, including this card, to then usually special summon or add or do a secondary effect, which is why it is important that we get as much value as we can out of this. We're going to start with going with Ash, sending the Populous we've just equipped to go ahead and get Oak. Oak is also going to have that same effect, but first of all, when it is summoned, we are going to go ahead and get us a free body by special summoning or adding back any of our cards from the grave. It can add any fire monster that is banished or in the grave, which means in the late game this thing can add back Kurakara, this thing can add back Ash, this thing can add back any of your fire things that you wish to do. Now you're going to go ahead and use the effect of Snake Eye Oak, and we're going to send the Flamberge this time, and we're going to go ahead and summon a copy of Flamberge out. We're going to go ahead and trigger a graveyard effect of Flamberge, which is when it's sent, we get 2 shiny bodies from the grave. This is any fire cards as well. I believe they have to be level 1, but you can spec things like Kurakara or Jet Synchron off of the Flamberge effect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to make an IP Masquerena in this zone right here. Zone placement isn't too important in this deck, but it is definitely has a little bit of importance. Then we're going to go ahead and link off this IP Masquerena into the Princess. Princess is going to spec any of our fire cards from the grave. Does not matter here, but we're going to go for Ash because we're going to talk about this card a lot. Then we're going to go ahead and go into Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf. We're then going to go ahead and use the Graveyard effect now that we're no longer locked into fires of Link Karibo. Special summon it out, which is going to be right under the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf effect, which means we can use the effect to add any card back. In this case, we're going to add back the Snake-Eyed Dragon. If you have any fires engraved that are relevant, if you're playing other builds, any volcanics you might want to add back. Again, late if you're going into game 2 and doing this combo, you can add back ashes and stuff like that. We're then going to go ahead and, as you can see, we have a Link 2 and a Link 1, all Cyburst. We're going to go ahead and go into Heat Soul, use the effect of Heat Soul to draw a card. And last but not least, we're going to go ahead and Flamberge, which can equip any of our cards to the Spell and Trap Zone. These don't equip, by the way, they just slot in the Spell and Trap Zone, but it's kind of like equipping. So what's this board achieved? You might be looking at this going, that's not great, you know? Is that really what this deck does? I thought this was supposed to be the best deck. It is. In my opinion, this is going to be the best deck next format, but this combo alone, from one card, bear in mind now, guys, you will have 4 in hand, has drew a card, so you'll now have 5 in hand, and Heat Soul is going to also go ahead and draw you a card on your opponent's turn, so that's 6 in hand, and you've recurred off of the Sunlight Wolf, so you will have 7 in hand. Now that might not sound great, but if you're playing a very heavy hand trap build or the heavy floodgate build, that is of course where the majority of your interruptions are going to come from. But we're not finished, because on our opponent's turn, whenever our opponent commits to any play, we're going to be able to use Flamberge's effect and the Field Spell effect. This is where the combos can differ and go from there. So both of these have the effect to target a card that is in the Spell and Trap Zone and summon it. So what you tend to do with this deck is make your interruption, in this case our interruption was IP Masquerena, and then use that by sending it to the grave in any form, shape or way, and then we're going to re-equip it with the Flamberge. So in our opponent's turn, whenever they do something, Flamberge is going to summon Masquerena, and Masquerena is going to go ahead and link off with itself and the Flamberge into SP Little Knight, Nightmare Unicorn. You could use the Heat Soul and you can make a 3-card Appaloosa here. You know, the world's your oyster, it all depends what you want to do. Also to note, of course, when you send the Flamberge to the grave in your opponent's turn, you're going to go ahead and be able to special summon 2 level 1 fires from the grave again, and if you go ahead and go for Ash, for Oak, for Populous, on your opponent's turn, they're going to get their effects respectively. If you summon Ash, you can add any level 1 fire, which does include things like Kurakara for the follow-up. Oak, of course, is going to go ahead and get you another body, and Populous is going to go ahead and get you another spell. That was the first combo, guys. This is a 7 in hand with an IP Masquerena combo. This is my favourite going first combo in my opinion because I play so many hand traps. We're going to go ahead and go into our second combo now. Okay, this is going to be another combo with Snake Eye Ash. This is going to be around Droll and Lockbird. Droll and Lockbird may be very popular next format, as a lot of decks are struggling against it. So you're going to go ahead and normal summon Ash, Ash effect to add Populous. On resolution, I would like to go Populous Chainlink 1, and unfortunately, our opponent has gone Chainlink to Droll here. So we cannot add. So when we summon this Populous here, it's going to obviously give me the option to add, but we are going to pretend we are under Droll, and we cannot add. What do? We can still do an amazing combo without the use of adding. So we're going to go ahead and go into Link Karibo here, which will trigger Populous, and which will, of course, slap over here. We will then go ahead and use the effect of Ash to get rid of the Link Karibo, and get ourselves a copy of Oak. Oak will go ahead and get us the Ash back from the grave. Of course, we'll special summon it. We can then go ahead and use the effect of Oak, getting rid of the Populous here, to get us the Flamberge. We can go into an IP Masquerena with both of these, which will trigger the Flamberge in grave, allowing us to summon a couple of bodies back. We of course can't use the Populace here. We can go into the Princess here. Princess will summon from the grave. We can of course get into Flamberge. And then from here we can go into the Swarm Ship. And then, of course, same as last time, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves a copy of IP Masquerena. So this is, of course, IP Masquerena, summoned with Flamberge, same as last time. This time we don't have the backing of the Heat Soul draw, but it's still almost an identical combo. You are still going to have 4 in hand, so this is still going to be multiple links, multiple recursions. You're still going to get Kurakara, you're still going to get all the follow-up in the world, and of course an extender. This can be a completely different board if you have an extender. You can make the same board that we made last time with an extender, to be honest. You just obviously don't get the draw off the Heat Soul, but that's a small combo I wanted to show you which plays through Droll and Lockbird. We're now going to show you a 2-card combo with If You Open Up Diabellstar and Ash. Okay, this is going to be the 3rd combo with just Snake Eye Ash before we go on to the big one, actually. This is going to be the OTK combo. This is to completely whitewash your opponent's board. So our opponent here has made a solid board with all of these Ojamas in hand. And you know what, we're not looking great either, but we do have the Snake Eye Ash, and this is the combo that we are going to do. Snake Eye Ash is going to do its usual business in getting ourselves a copy of Populace. And of course the Populace will trigger here. Populace is going to go ahead this time and get you a Snake Eye Divine of the Temple. And Temple is going to this time place the Flamberge in the Spell and Trap Zone. We're going to make a nice shiny Karibo of the links, like usual. Combo, as you can see, is very straightforward. Most of the combos have very similar lines. We're going to go ahead and get rid of the Populace. We're going to go ahead and get Oak here. Oak's going to get us another body. We're going to get Ash. Very special summon. Very nice. Oak is, of course, going to get rid of this here for Flamberge, which will, of course, trigger Graveyard Flamberge to get us more bodies on the board. Yeah, baby. Right, now we are going to make the Link 3. The Link 3 is going to activate and get us a Flamberge back. It is important this Flamberge stays here, but what we are going to do next is we are going to make the Link 4, which is going to be the Salamangreat Raging Phoenix. Next, we're going to go ahead and use that Phoenix to go straight into Zelantis, and we're going to trigger Zelantis' effect. This will blow up everything, and of course give us back the Flamberge, the random body, and the Zelantis. And it will give our opponent back the Ash. What this will do is trigger Princess, allowing us to pop that and pop our random card. Okay? And then, what else we will be able to trigger because a card was popped when it wants to summon. Pop, pop. Of course, we get Princess back here. This will trigger Raging Phoenix to target whatever we popped, summon him back, and he'll gain the attack. This, of course, is more than enough damage. You can, of course, pop the Flamberge instead of the random monster, and he will be on even more. He'll be on 66. This is just a version of it that, of course, allows you to then go into battle, and providing your opponent has, of course, not stopped anything here, this alone is more than enough damage without the additional Flamberge. But if you need it, the Flamberge is also there. Just a combo to know that will completely OTK your opponent. Dokily. Final combo. This is going to be if you open up Snake Eye Ash and Diabellstar, or of course any versions of them. Could be Wanted, could be Bonfire, could be Prosperity to get to either of them. It's going to start off with No Shock being Snake Eye Ash into Populace, and of course Populace's effect is going to, of course, trigger in hand once again. Special summoning himself out, and he's going to go ahead and get himself the field spell as usual. Nothing out of the blue here. We're going to go Field Spell. Field Spell's going to get us Flamberge. We're going to go into our good friend Link Karibo. Of course, Populace will trigger here and get ourselves the Populace in the Spell and Trap Zone. Now, we're going to go ahead and go with Diabellstar, getting rid of this Populace here and summoning himself out, which will trigger the Diabellstar, setting us Snake Eyes original Sinful Spoil. Of course, we're going to activate this. We're going to get rid of Link Karibo. This will get us our Jet Synchron. This is the Synchro combo. And next, we're going to go ahead and go into our Synchro for 8. We're going to go into Borrowload Savage Dragon. Now, I want to point out something here. Here, of course, is where the opponent has to, if they have Nibiru. Otherwise, you know, this is going to trigger and is going to get you the Link Karibo and you have the negate. If your opponent nibs you here, you are fine. You do not care. Because your opponent has summoned a monster, the nib, and the token. The Divine Temple Snake Eye will trigger, allowing you to special summon a card that is on your spell and trap zone, meaning you can summon the Flamberge, and the Flamberge and the token can go into IP. The Flamberge, when it's engraved, will summon 2 cards back. You can use those to go into a 4-card Apo, or you can go down a Heat Soul combo. There's so many things you can do with that. But that's not the combo we're talking about right now. What we're talking about is Savage getting us the Link Karibo. And an important thing to note here, when this is equipped, because this is actually equipped, it gains counters and it only gains the half attack to the card that's still equipped. So when we go Ash Effect and get rid of that Link Karibo, this thing, as you can see, still has the counter, and providing it has the counter, it still has the negate. So it does not matter, it just loses the 150 attack, which is completely irrelevant. We're going to go ahead and get Oak. Oak is, of course, going to summon us one thing back. We are going to summon back Jet Synchron this time. And we are then going to go ahead and use Oak like usual. This time we're going to get rid of the Flamberge. And we are, of course, going to get another Flamberge. And speaking of Flamberge, the one that's just been sent to grave will trigger now, allowing you to get 2 bodies back. Doesn't really matter which 2 here. We're going to go for Oak and we're going to go for Ash. We're then going to go ahead and Synchro our way into Formula Synchron. Formula Synchron will trigger here to draw you a nice shiny card. And we drew Diabellstar, which we knew anyway. And then we will go ahead and link these off into IP Masquerena. This time we're going to use Flamberge to get the Formula Synchron and equip it here. And this will be the end board with 5 in hand again. 5 in hand can be, again, a variety of hand traps or extenders. This is the standard end board, and this is what it ends on. Going into your opponent's turn, Flamberge this time is going to summon Formula Synchron, and we're going to use Formula Synchron's quick effect to Synchro summon, using itself and Flamberge into the Baron de Fleur. Where is he? Oh, because I can't special summon him right now, sorry. To go into the Baron de Fleur, which of course will then trigger Flamberge to summon back Oak, to summon back Ash, to summon back Populous, to of course add Kurakara, to of course add the spells, to of course add to summon another monster back. And one thing also to note with this, you of course still have Jet Synchron engrave, and if you opened up Wanted, you will still have the other Snake Eyes card here, allowing you to get another draw. So this combo also has the potential to hand with 6 in hand instead of 5. And of course, when you get all these bodies back, the IP will allow you to go into whatever link you want, whether again that be SP, Appaloosa. You can't go. You could go into Heat Soul as well. Actually, you could go when you summon everything back. You can link Karibo and then go into Heat Soul and draw cards that way. There's just endless amount of things you can do with it. And with that in mind, that is going to be the video, guys. There has been 4 shiny combos for you to learn and tweak with yourself. Of course, deck list to tweak yourself. There is the deck list once again. We're going to just play a little random game right now and throw the game in the background so you can kind of see how some interactions work and how the combos unfold without me just explaining. But hopefully you've enjoyed the video. If you have, leave a like, comment and subscribe. It's been your boy Screech, guys. This has been your basic guide to Snake Eyes.